Hello everybody, welcome back. Alright, we're gonna move Inspector out of the way here now, because we are going to blow this up. Bam. There you go. That is how you do. Let's see, how far can we get you? Of course, because you gotta go around. Truck's blocking the way. Geez, how do we wanna handle this? Bam. Alright, that wasn't great. How about bam? It wasn't particularly great. Can we mark you? And pop. And pop. Can we gob it, finish you off maybe? It's not. Yeah. There we go. It's not the most ideal, but how about bam? Great. How about bam? Great. How about bam? Oh, there. Oh, wow. Okay. I guess that was all we needed. Okay, let's run you all the way down. We just get these guys all out of here now. Maybe with one more pop. Oh, okay. Oh, cool. We have now extincted this motor pool and also blown up a lot of police property. Hope they don't mind. Are there going to be more in the boathouse here? Oh, there we go. The pirate beams a brilliant smile at you. Ah, you return! And the lovely Senior Inspector Q is with you. Are you ready to go, my friend? Let's get the hell out of here. The patrol boat's on the way. He throws back his head and laughs. Ha! Marine region patrol boats wallow like pigs in shit. We will run circles around them. Get to it then. Go! Jomo offers her a mocking half-bow, leans into the drunken mistake, and punches a button. The entire boat begins to vibrate as the craft's engines roar to life. Best climb in and buckle yourselves down, then. This will be a bumpy ride. Oh, boy. Are we going to go all Jar Jar Binks on this? Hopefully not. Oh, God. Are we actually... what's going on here? Water lashes your faces. Jomo opens the drunken mistake's throttle. The boat bounces over the surface of the water like a skipping stone, half jolting you out of your seat every time it splashes down. Jomo's voice roars out over the din in a sing-song cadence, joyously barking out in a song in Indonesian. Oh boy. I'm not going to offend everybody by trying to do that. So, let's go. Well, he sounds happy. Jomo is happy. You must all join in celebrating his triumph. Our pursuers are shaken, thrown from our trail like a bucket of piss in a poor man's window. And now your glorious Capitan will have you back to your impound yard where you must feast and drink to his success. Q holds up a hand. Wait, the impound yard is compromised. Crate's people might even have it surrounded already. We can't go back there. Lamb was a mole, a part of Crate's conspiracy. They're gonna know everything he did. Jomo nods, a grave look on his face. I know a place. Somewhere that the HKPF cannot approach by land, air, or sea. But where? Okay. Jomo will take you there, and then he will try very hard to talk his way out of suffering the consequences. Alright, where are we going? We're clearly not done this yet, because we still have to take... Oh, okay. Drunken Mistake's turbocharged motors churn through the open water, leaving a trail of frothy sea behind you. Are we going to Singapore? The Aberdeen docks quickly recede into the distance, and Jomo powers you steadily deeper into international waters. At the back of the boat, Q stands alone, one hand cupped over her ear, shouting into her comlink. You can't make out what she's saying over the roar of the Drunken Mistake's engines, but from the expression on her face, it isn't going well. Jomo throttles down the engines, nervously staring into the water just beyond the speedboat's hull. You soon discover why. Sea mines! With careful precision, the pirate steers the nimble craft around them, aided only by his skill and a handful of Indonesian curses. As Jomo pilots you through the minefield, a jagged shape in the distance begins to grow larger. It's huge, a slab-like ship surrounded by a number of smaller vessels. Grinning, the pirate... ... Does what? Oh, jeez. Excuse me. I feel like this is supposed to have a did somebody forget to, like, add the scroll there or something? Like... But that is not a complete thought, unfortunately. Welp. We're not going to know what the pirate does. You step onto the converted barge with unsteady legs. The deck rocks with the rolling motion of the waves, and you can hear the slap of water against the hull below your feet. The air here is permeated with the smells of engine oil and diesel fumes, all intermixed with the sweat of sailors and the sweet aroma of roasting amberjack. Welcome aboard the Benteng, the jewel of the Loho Joa fleet. He flashes you a brilliant smile. You will be safe here, safer than you were in the impound yard in Hyoi or at your mother's teat. Nothing enters these waters without Captain Utama's permission. If you say so. Don't take my word for it, my friend. He sweeps his arm across the deck, smiling brilliantly. Look around you. See for yourself. In the distance, a cluster of enormous guns rise above the Benteng's deck. Heavy artillery, coupled with a group of old model Ares CWIS systems. Millions of Nuyen worth of restricted military hardware, all mounted to a creaking barge with the resale value of a mid-range sedan. The seabed beneath your feet is littered with the carcasses of countless drones and aircraft. He pumps his arms excitedly, miming the action of a cannon firing on an airborne target. They all met their doom at the roar of the Benteng's mighty guns. Sheets of flying lead tore wings from fuselages, ripped through cockpits, shredded parachutes to tattered rags. And the waters that she protects are no safer for our enemies. Envision the seabed far beneath your feet. He sweeps his arm low toward the waves on the far horizon. New life springs from the bones of patrol craft, coral of 1,000 hues, sprouting like wheat from the bloated bodies of those fools who have dared to trespass here. Our minds make short work of those who approach by sea. An elvish crewman steps forward and claps a hand onto the orc's shoulder. His voice comes out in a breathy rumble. She almost speaks the truth, Shadowrunner. Nothing can approach this ship and live. That's a pretty big claim. Believe what you like, but I wouldn't question the Benteng's capabilities in front of the captain if I were you. She's waiting for you, by the way. In your place, I would not keep her waiting long. My crew? They will wait for you in that rusted hulk you call a home. The one the corporate people towed here. He jerks a thumb over his shoulder. It's over there. How did you... I made some calls. Q rubs her temples, squinting. She looks exhausted. Amazing how much freight you can move with a tugboat and a couple of industrial lifting airframes. Must be nice being able to call in favors from Megacorp on a whim. It didn't happen on a whim, believe me. My relationship with corporate's beyond strained at the moment. You can talk with your friends later. Now go to Automata and be quick about it. I'll tell you this for your own good. Alright, let's go. As you say, my friend. He taps a cigarette out of a pack in his breast pocket. I shall inspect the Defiance to see if anything was damaged during transit. Jomo gives you a nod. Q, Kira, you're with me. We have a captain to meet. Great. Where is, friend captain? Also, do we have, we do have a whole bunch of karma now. Hey, what do we want to spend it on? At this point, not actually sure at this point. We can get more health. That wouldn't be too bad considering what we're looking at here now. Could actually get double health, to be honest. Or more quickness? Yeah, let's get more quickness. I feel like we've pretty well maxed out our intelligence and charisma checks at the moment. Don't see how we're going to be getting anything more intense than, like, rank 7 or 8 for most of those. I guess it's possible, but, you know. Alright, where's this captain? I take it we still have... It's definitely, like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just playing this game slow, which, you know, I would not doubt at all, but, seems like there's more than just 6 hours in here. I don't know. Could just be me. It unfortunately, like, there is a lot to explore and stuff, but I feel like the bulk of what actually kind of keeps things lengthy is the combat, really, because it's like XCOM, and I'm not very good at that. All right, who's this? A weathered troll with a relaxed posture and a commanding presence dominates the cabin. Her face is serious, but her dual-colored eyes glint with curiosity as she runs them over you. It is my honor to introduce you to Captain Utama, our most gracious and benevolent host. Jomo bows deeply. My captain, I thank you for your generous hospitality. I remain your humbled servant and offer my deepest respect. She steps forward and places a gnarled hand on Jomo's shoulder. What was a good voice for this? For a really battle-hardened troll. A battle-hardened pirate troll, I should say. Let's see how many voices I have. Not many. Straighten your damn back, Jomo. Pay your respects if you must, but I have no use for men who bow and scrape. Jomo's back snaps straight, and he hurriedly retreats to his original position. His smile remains as relaxed as ever, but you can't help but notice the bead of perspiration that traces its way down his forehead. Captain shifts her gaze to you, studying your face through eyes the color of dirty ice. A smile slowly creeps across her face, twisting the scar across her lips into a second grin. As for you, Shadowrunner, you're welcome aboard the Benteng. Mind my rules, and you may stay here for as long as you wish. Tremendous favor. Her scarred lips twitch upward in amusement. I do you no favor, girl. Hospitality was bought and paid for, not given. Look to your friend, she wrote the check. Savor the moment, Kira. You're looking at the end result of me calling in the very last of my favors with corporate. Scarred Troll's smile broadens. My hospitality is not given, Shadowrunner. It's rented. Now, before you get settled in, there's a small matter we must discuss. Okay. She rests her hands on her hips. This is my ship. Your friend here has paid your passage, yeah, but if you prove to be a disruptive presence on the vessel, I will not hesitate to have you tossed overboard. Unless you relish the idea of swimming with awakened sharks and active minds, you will mind your manners during your stay. I'd love to see some of these awakened sharks, to be honest. I'll stay out of Sailor's hair. I certainly hope so. You wouldn't be the first guest I've had to put over the side. All the splashing, the screaming. It's quite distracting to the men working on deck. They won't mind. Make a peep, Captain Utama, I promise. This is gonna be home for the foreseeable future, Kira. We got nowhere else to go, and I'm fresh out of strings to pull. We get Mitsuhama something they can use, something irrefutable, or we resign ourselves to life on the open sea. I've always wanted to be a pirate. Let's find something they can use. That's right, we do. We start with Lamb's PDA. Meet me at my command trailer. We're gonna crack that thing. We're gonna get some answers. Great. Is that all? Captain's wheelhouse is surprisingly warm, despite its coldly utilitarian interior. Sounds of the sea breeze outside roll over the cabin, and a soft whistle hums through the cluttered room. You find Utama standing near a makeshift wet bar. Crates and tool chests loaded full of liquor bottles, all piled onto a coffee table that sags under their weight. That would not be any of... Okay, alright. The captain swirls a clear, yellow-tinted liquid around the interior of a thick glass. You watch her grab a pinch of what looks like salt from a small open dish, then carefully sprinkle it into the cup. Her voice is hard when she addresses you, but... Ooh. Her eyes remained locked on the drink, which she continues to swish around in ever-tightening circles. Getting acquainted with the Benteng, are we? She holds the glass up to her nose and inhales. Satisfied, she takes a sip. Her eyes flash toward you. Good. I hate drinking alone. She motions toward the wet bar with her elbow. Water. What are you having? A bemused grin graced the captain's scarred face. Oh, you sure? No questions asked. Lay it on me. She swirls the liquid inside her glass, then tilts it your way. Have at it. Do you want to slam it back? Do you want to... I mean, we have an iron stomach from dealing with Gobbet all these months. Down the cup. The room temperature liquid is thicker than you'd expected, with a pleasant fruity flavor. There's an unexpected sweetness to it, but not a heavy, sickly kind of sweet that accompanies a lot of mixed drinks. In fact, you can't detect any bite to the liquid at all. It appears to be entirely alcohol-free. I'm assuming fresh pressed. I'm assuming, judging by the color and viscosity, I'd guess this was sourced from a farming region inside Hong Kong. She claps a hand on your shoulder. You're correct, of course. Guava juice, freshly pressed from fruit grown in the Yuanlong district. I respect a woman who knows her fruit. Extravagances such as this serve us well on the open sea. Scurvy's no joke, after all. She takes a slow sip of her drink. With a smack of her lips, she tilts her head toward you and stares at you through dual-colored eyes. So what brings you here? Something on your mind, Shadowrunner? Small saucer of powder. She sniffs loudly through her nose, studies you for a moment before replying. What do you think it is? Salt. She wrinkles her nose in disgust. This looks like a nightclub to you. We don't garnish our drinks with sugar or salt out here. There's no better way of identifying a shitty drink than the size of the crap pile it's buried under. She rubs a hand across the back of her neck. Look, I spent the better part of my life on the open ocean. They say that when you first start sailing, you have to earn your sea legs, otherwise the rolling sickness will get you. I never did that. Never had to. Had my sea legs from the first time I ever set foot on a boat. Didn't realize it could catch up to you, though. Seems that as I get older, my stomach rolls with the waves more and more. She points toward the powder in the saucer. It's an antiemetic. It keeps me from turning green on the job. You ever find yourself in need of some, you help yourself to my stash. But don't overdo it. A little goes a long way. Pirate? It's got its ups, got its downs. Many sailing men, captains and crews alike, view female seafarers with a critical eye. We're always at a disadvantage. The glare has even landed on me from time to time. Never mind the fact I'm one of the best damn sea captains ever to grace the ports of this sort of planet. I have to make a display of my power before I'm assumed to have it. On the other hand, in the same vein, we're often underestimated. This can work to our advantage. Never demean myself to gain the upper hand, but I will use the man's idiocy against him to my own benefit. There's no shame in that. She flicks a piece of lint off her shirt. At the end of the day, I wouldn't change things. It's a good life, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. Okay, thanks. Thanks for that. I guess we're just heading off to, back to camp, as it were. Is there anybody to, buy stuff off of? Buy stuff? Buy? Ooh, jeez. A woman in an armored trench coat hunches over a smoking grill, her assault rifle leaned up against a nearby crate. She prods at an assortment of rapidly blackening fish, eel, squid, and other sea life, and all the while fixing them with a critical glare. She glances up and squints as you approach. She's wearing a beret. I only have so many voices, you see. Like, I can't do French accents either, because I don't know what, like, I don't hear French, like, voices often enough, and she's probably not actually French. I mean, it's kind of a stereotype that, like, French people wear berets, but they're certainly not the only people who wear berets. You're not a prisoner. You don't look like a pirate. This sure as hell ain't a standard tourist location. Welcome to Benteng, whoever you are. It's the finest pirate barge in at least a 50-mile radius. Who are you? Chastity Blackwell, independent mercenary. I've seen action from Azania to the Transpolar Aleut Nation, but for right now, I'm having a bit of time off with the Joholoa. Nobody shoots at me on the Benteng, and most of the visitors are potential clients. Seems like a good place to have a barbecue, then. You don't know the half of it, woman. Take my advice and cook your own food while you're here. Thomas got a chef on our crew, but his skill set begins and ends with adding packets of instant noodle flavorings to things. Man's a culinary butcher. Wanted for flavor murder across Southeast Asia. Don't trust him. Why didn't she have a better cook? I don't know. Good cook will make or break morale. Anybody who's ever served on a ship knows that. I can only assume that Rinaldi is really good at something else. From what I hear, he used to be a targeting officer on a rebel Hook missile cruiser. Maybe he's the guy that set up the Benteng's defensive perimeter. I'm not sure. You'd think a bunch of damn Filipino and Indonesian pirates would stock a half-decent spice cabinet. But no, it's all prepackaged spice mixes, mostly scrounged from instant noodle packages. I killed for some sambal olek a month ago, after Rinaldi tried to make some bebek goreng using fast food chili packets. They finally let me go ashore for supplies. How'd you get into cooking? Are you kidding me? She smirks, folding her arms over her chest. After a minute, her smirk fades. Oh, you're serious? Okay, so basically there are 3 types of mercenaries. She lifts her hands and starts counting off on her fingers. First type are the ones who work for big outfits like MET-2000, Brightblade, Tsunami, whatever. They're not much different from corporate armies in a lot of ways. They get tons of support and finances, so everywhere they go they build bases with mess halls, barracks to work. And second, you got small units to sign up with well-established clients. They don't work for a big PMC, but maybe they got a team of 50 or so. They get contracts from reasonably lucrative clients, a lot of work in Africa from corporations, or urban convoy duty in areas that are still a bit iffy. Places like Caracas, Vladivostok, Lagos, whatever. These units rough it a bit more, but they're usually attached to larger groups as extra muscle. And you got people like me, true freelancers, cowboys, who fill out the gaps in larger units, but we can never tell how big of a group we'll be with. Sometimes a corporation needs some soldiers garrisoned at some mine. They round up 10 of us and throw us out in the field with nothing but what we brought with us. Unless you have some kind of unhealthy love for field rations, you learn to cook whatever you got around, or you make friends with someone who does. What do you know about the Johor Loa? Quite a bit. They're pirates. They live around Hong Kong, and Jomo's only slightly crazier than most of them. What else is there to know? Sorry. I assume you're interested in something in particular? What's a pirate's life like? She frowns, glancing at you in a sidelong fashion. Why are you asking me and not Jomo? You know him better than you know me, and I only know what I see from the outside. I mean, I guess I know more about them than most people. Okay, well, I guess the first thing to know is that it isn't as glamorous as they make it out to be. Most of the Johor Loa ships are living hand to mouth. They don't have any savings, and they can wind up stranded if something breaks down at sea. It's mostly a lot of sailing around, bribing harbor masters, find out what ships are carrying the good stuff, and running off to steal it all. Some pirates show up with big guns. This family would rather do it with a fast hit and run. Sure, they got the big guns, but they'll only use them as last resort. Ammo costs money, you know. Where do they operate? And they'll go anywhere in the South China Sea. I've heard stories that they get as far north as Hangzhou sometimes, and make runs down to Darwin if the cargo's right. But in terms of their home base, it's been in Sai Kung for over 10 years. They're 100% Hong Kong natives, even if some of the locals don't seem to think so. I guess part of why I like them so much. They're a kind of mixed up multinational family that makes the modern world so interesting. The only nation is their fleet, and their language is a mix-up of Indonesian, Cantonese, Tagalog, Malay, Spanish, and English. They're beholden to no one but themselves. It's an admirable thing in this day and age. How'd they get started? Filipino refugees, mostly. 2 clans, Johor and Loa, resisted the Japanese occupation of the Philippines. Some joined the Hook rebels, but most decided to join the Hakka fishing communities around Hong Kong. Over the years, they intermarried, first with each other, then with the Chinese, Indonesians, and Malaysians as well. The whole venture is pretty much a family affair. Each ship tends to be run along family lines. The captain's the family elder, backed up by their spouse's first mate. Eldest child, sometimes sibling, is the bosun. Kids are the deckhands. It seems to work out well. It's basically just family business, and the fleets of ships are extended family. She gestures toward the expanse of the Benteng, smiling crookedly. Because of that, they're united but independent. Take the Benteng, for example. It's not just Utama's ship, it's her family. Her house, her business, and her legacy to pass on to her children. That's part of why they don't like stand-up fights as much as they do hit-and-run jobs. Nobody wants to get their family killed. Alright, what else? Okay, well. Thanks for that. Hi. How are you doing? Do you like it here? Constable's attention is locked onto his PDA's display. He inhales through his nose, then speaks. Just because I'm standing here doesn't mean I'm not busy. He shrugs, his tattoos moving with their eyes and fall of his shoulders. State your business. What do you do when you're not being a cop? What do I do? You mean, like, my hobbies? It's kind of a strange thing to ask. I'm curious. He shrugs. Okay, I paint. Oils, mostly landscapes. I've had a few showings in Victoria Harbor coffee shops. Could we change the subject, maybe? This is getting a little too personal for my tastes. How'd you wind up on the text for? The cover got blown. Barely made it out of the 444 territory alive. I couldn't stay undercover any longer, so they had to find another use for me. When Lamb told me about the task force, I volunteered. Are you a ganger? I got jumped in when I was a kid. In my old neighborhood, it was impossible not to be. I got out when I was a teenager. Turned my life around. When I landed in the HKPF, they put my background to good use by sending me undercover. For narc? I worked undercover for a couple of Kowloon City's nastier street gangs, black butchers and the 444s. Helped to bring them down from the inside. Glad to be off that detail. I was good at it, but doing that sort of work takes a toll. It's toll. It takes a toll. Paid to toll. With an easy smile and relaxed body language, something about this orc seems intrinsically pleasant, despite the myriad guns and swords laying on the table near him. He raises a hand in greeting as you approach. Hey, stranger. Always nice to see a new face out here. I don't know. Are you, part of the crew? Well, me? Nah, man. I'm just hanging out here until my next job. Know some of the crew, and it's good transit hub if you're looking to go places by ship and stay off of official records. Pretty cool place, truth be told. Name's Garrett, by the way. Wandering swordsman at your service. So you, Ronin? Something like that. A more appropriate term in Hong Kong would be Yao Hop, but same difference. He shrugs. You boil it down, I'm a street samurai who happens to be good with a blade. Guns, too, but I like swords. Oh god. Oh god. Let's ask! Ha! California! Not at all. I grew up on the street in Oakland, California, Free State. You know, Auckland. He gestures to his two tusks, grinning. Non-humans weren't very welcome in San Francisco after Japan began protecting it. It's an extra. Anybody who wasn't highly connected or a normal human got shoved out. Sure, you've run into somebody with an axe to grind against elves at some point in your life. Think of that, but make it the law. Now imagine that the thugs who are getting up in your face think you're a monster who's gonna kill the kids. Long story short, they marched us out at gunpoint. Happened right before I was born, but I heard a lot of stories. No wonder you learned to fight. No kidding, right? You grow up on the street and want to get out, you end up dead in a gang or a Shadowrunner. Not a whole lot of middle ground for us. He grabs one of the pistols off the nearby table, holding it up. This here's your passport to a better life. It's that simple. Running hand along his jaw, the orc grins ruefully. Remind me to tell you about my tragic past, too. Damn near guarantees a life as a Shadowrunner. Seems a bit, melodramatic. Grew up on stories about wandering Zhanghu, swordsmen, and other martial artists. Loved reading books like The Water Margin, Deer in the Cauldron, Journey to the West. There's a kind of romance to it that appealed to me. It still does. An outlaw living by their own code, fighting the mighty powers, and living by their own wits. Beats the usual story I knew. Born poor, starve, die poor. He gestures off towards the distance. Most people out there haven't got a shred of hope that there's anything better. When you live like that, it grinds you down. I figure, if I could see my life as a modern vision of one of the classics, I'll keep my spirits up. That's worth more to me than all the new yen in the world. Said you'd end up in Hong Kong. Snaps his fingers excitedly. Ha! This ties into my tragic past. Tale of revenge in foreign lands, swords and sorcery, dead parents and the criminal underworld. You're awfully excited about a terrible event. What do you expect? Happened when I was a kid, and that was ages ago. Lived in a slum surrounded by gangers and junkies. Objectively speaking, it's probably the best thing that happened to me. Got me out of Oakland. I got in a corner store. When I got back home, my home was on fire. Mom and Dad had been hacked up with a machete. Don't know why. Maybe a BTL debt. Maybe they just got on the wrong side of one of the local gangs. Long story short, local fixer felt bad and took me in. Started me off as an assistant, moved me up to be his muscle as I got older. Sounds like a familiar story. Figured it might. People like us, we tend to come up from the same kind of places. Nobody gives up an easy street for a life of crime unless they're seriously screwed up in the head. But it's a better life than begging or being at the bottom of the food chain, yeah? Anyway, once I was old enough, Big Sven, the fixer, hooked me up with my choily foot sifu. That was when I got my first street jobs. Odd jobs here and there. And I'm not an adept, so I also had to scrounge to install whatever way I could. I'm out here because my sifu figured it's time for me to learn from other masters. I've been visiting monks, triad enforcers, and back alley schools for months now. Are you, looking to avenge your parents? Guess. If it comes up or if I hear anything, it seems like the kind of thing I should be honor bound to do, but it was so damn long ago I figure I can afford to let it sit a bit longer. He shrugged, spreading his arms helplessly. Maybe that's kind of weird. I don't want part of my past to define me. So he in fact does not want to be Batman. Aye, thanks. If it happens, it happens. If not, at least I'll have an interesting trip. That's the thing, really. Be where you are, live when you are. Make sense? Or is Zen? Alright. We're going to call it here. And then we're going to check out what's in the command trailer, I guess. So let's drop a save real quick. And then, yeah. We'll see where else this leads. I guess I'm probably not going to actually end up finishing this game, so that's a shame. But, thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!